If I was to ask you what the ultimate breed of dog was, would everybody have the same answer? The ultimate dog would have to fit every category. It would have no genetic problems. It would be a reliable, trustworthy companion that was also defensive for your family. The truth is, one dog might be able to do more tricks than your dog, but you'll still love the dog that you've got. Today we're looking at PRS guitars, and that might seem irrelevant at start, but actually it's quite profound when we start looking at guitar brands and what guitar brands do and what their USP is. I've had PRS guitars for many years. I bought my first PRS guitar when I was 20, and that guitar cost me an absolute fortune. In fact, I traded in my Gibson Les Paul for it. Now, I don't know whether I regret that or not. So let's go into the video. PRS guitars are one of the big three brands in most people's opinions. So you've got Fender, you've got Gibson, you've got PRS. Where PRS fit in the sort of classic design concepts would be in the middle of the two. So you've got the bolt-on maple-necked sort of Fender approach, where the guitars originally weren't actually made by luthiers at all. They were made very sort of crudely sort of designed. A lot of the attention to detail goes into the neck on a Fender. Be that as it may, the design is incredible. And one of my favourite guitars are Telecasters, or some of my favourite guitars are Telecasters and Stratocasters. My favourite players played them. The best guitar I've ever played is a 1960 Telecaster that I played at Old Hat Guitars up near Skegness in a village called Horncastle. Check that place out if you ever get to go, because it's the most amazing guitar shop I've ever been to. This guitar here is a PRS Hollowbody. So it's a SE model, so it's made by Cortec and designed by PRS. The deputy or the COO of PRS Guitars is really involved in the manufacture of these. And I must say that the quality of this guitar is absolutely incredible. It's absolutely up there, and it bears no correlation to the price I paid for it. Here's a couple of little tones. It sustains forever. Really lovely guitar, really useful, really versatile. It came packaged in tune, and it was made in China. Okay, so that taught me a couple of things: quality, where things are made, bear no correlation. The only thing I've upgraded are the tuners. I've put locking ones on. This is a wonderful guitar. This video is brought to you by subscribers and likers of the videos. If you like it, please like and subscribe, tell your friends, and leave a comment. I wonder what you think. This is another PRS. This is a core model. Back before PRS guitars had core models, they just made guitars. This is even before the SEs were built. This is a 2000 PRS McCarty, and it cost me about £2,000 back in 2007. This guitar was used at the time. It's totally, the use on this is very much mine. I've had to have the frets. I've had to have it refretted actually. I've used it that much. It does have some bashings on it and some dings. It's probably worth half that now because of the use that it's had. It's finally at the stage where the hardware is showing some levels of corrosion. But this guitar has been my #1 guitar until about a year ago. Listen to this. This has and that's just on the neck pickup. It's got absolute tone for days. And the one thing that I would tell you about guitars like this is that they are reliable, well built, put together beautifully, and they're kind of like that ultimate dog I was talking about. They've got the features, they've got real woods, real attention to detail across the way they're made. And design wise as well, they can at times sit between the Gibson thing and the Fender thing. But here's the thing with them, they don't quite have the wabi-sabi. The wabi-sabi is a Japanese design philosophy, and it's essentially around the human interaction with something in its process to being made. It's the patina, the way things age, the beauty in the imperfections. And what I would tell you about PRS guitars are, they don't tend to have imperfections. Now, I did buy a PRS Silver Sky SE, and for a while I thought to myself, this is kind of like the best Fender Strat I've ever played, except it wasn't. So when I started trying to adjust the action on the guitar, I started to find that the frets were not leveled properly. I had 11 high frets on that guitar. That is not an imperfection where anybody can find beauty. We don't go, oh, that's lovely. That is sloppiness. So what do we mean by this? So let's look at character, and this is the only flaw in PRS guitars. So if you watch a festival, say Glastonbury Festival, Woodstock, a lot of the session musicians are rocking PRS guitars, and that's because they are reliable. You can get great sounds on them. They are workhorse guitars. They are forever guitars. But if I compare that to this guitar is a Gibson from 2007. Okay, so 2007 was a time in Gibson's history where they were making really good looking guitars. So the way this looks on the headstock kind of looks like a vintage Gibson. It's got the smaller shape, it's got the right kind of hardware, the small tuner ferrules, you know, it's got some really beautiful sort of, you know, adornments for a standard guitar. They did chamber them out, you know, which in my book is a good thing. But when I look at the way this has aged and the imperfections on it, the fingerboard, the fretboard is really nicely rolled here, just like you get on a PRS core model. But it isn't perfect. There are slight imperfections. But the way the binding has bled on this looks really classic and vintage and looks great. The way checking in the finish is starting to occur looks great. There's checking in the binding all over the guitar. And I'm quite I look after my guitars, but I use them a lot. So, you know, I will take this out. I have a studio outside where I teach guitar, and I'll go out there and I'll just take this out with me. And, you know, sometimes checking occurs and things like that. But this guitar really does have like the feeling of some kind of humanity to it. And it's because of those slight little imperfections there that I've just talked about. This guitar to me has a soul. But I wonder to myself, is that because I've played it so much, put so many hours into it, that the horse and the rider have kind of become one? There's another Japanese concept, jinba tie. Talking about number one guitars, this is actually my new number one. So I went through a bit of a journey looking for one of these. And this is a guitar that is not necessarily a snazzy guitar. This cost around about £600 in terms of monetary value. It is a Gibson guitar, but this is the tribute model. And when I got my hands on this, there are marks all over it, use It's been used. It's got little marks in the top. The top's changing colour and wearing where my arm's been. It's going green. This guitar doesn't have thick lacquer on it like my other ones, but what it does have is a shiny back to it where the finish, where the neck's been used that much that it kind of has built a sheen to the back of it, and it just ages beautifully. Yes, it scratches and you can see the scratches on it, but as a guitar it feels broken in, worn in really nicely, and this guitar plays beautifully. It's so easy to get a great sound out of it. The attention to detail kind of is where it counts. So in the fretwork, that's perfect on it. The neck is in a perfect place. It has had some upgrades to make it look a bit more old school, so I've put the old school furls on and the old school tuners, but other than that, it's just awesome guitar. Sounds awesome. This is my new number one. It doesn't matter to me that this costs a lot more money, and it doesn't matter to me that this has a coil tap. This has you know, a more refined kind of sound to it. This just has more vibe. It's still just as versatile. I'm just going to play this, and then I'm going to play the gold top. You can kind of hear the refinedness of it. So, and I think that's probably where I'm going to categorize this thing. So let's just have a quick look. That was quite, I don't know, jerky playing for me, but that's what came out when I got it. And I think that's the other thing about it, is you get inspired by instruments to play them differently. So just to conclude, PRS, Fender, Gibson, Taylor, whatever brand, Sire, they all fit in different price points. They all fit in different parts of the industry. But for me, I think the PRS sits somewhere in the middle of your Fenders and your Gibsons, but they don't seem to have that age, character, wabi-sabi kind of thing going on that you get with your Gibsons and your Fenders. And that doesn't matter. Fundamentally, it just doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. I don't think, this is my conclusion, I don't think PRS would have gone as far as they have without them being designed to be the perfect guitar. Because they do sit in a very special place in the market. They fit in a very special place in guitarist minds. Because when you get a PRS, they're a serious guitar. They are a brilliant guitar to use, and they're reliable. You can just pick one up. You could fly somewhere. And I've done this, so I've flown and I've had guitars. So I've flown to a venue. I did a tour last year, and I've flown to Denmark, and they had a Gibson guitar, and it was perfect. Bass player had a Fender bass come, and the action was totally out. We had to basically reset up that guitar so it could be usable, because it was buzzing out on like fret 5, and we had to like fix that. I took a toolkit with me, because I thought sometimes you get stuff like this when it's new or when it's been hired out and it's just not usable. So, you know, when you get PRS stuff, it's always like consistently brilliant. So that's the other thing. And by doing that and by being like that, you're not going to get the character of stuff that will have human imperfections. It's just not going to occur. And this is it, right? So your Gibsons, predominantly kind of handmade instruments. They're hand finished, they're sprayed up by hand, they are made in, everything gets made in a factory. It's not a custom shop thing, but they do have that kind of by hand. There's an element of imperfection that will just be as part of that, because they're very humanly crafted. Your Fenders, they're put together by hand. They have a CNC kind of process. Necks, I would imagine, are still finished by hand. They're not all going to be perfect either. And especially recently, there's a lot of sort of factory imperfections coming out of Fender, though I know they're trying to sort that out. But that's kind of it, really. I think you need to expect it to come from a different part of the market. It sits in a different place. This channel's brought to you by subscribers and people who watch the videos. If you like these videos, tell your friends, and it would be great for a subscription. We've nearly got 1,000 subscribers. I really want to get there in the next year or so. That would be amazing. Like and subscribe if you like the video. So there we have it. I really would like to know your opinions and what you think in the guitar space about PRS guitars. Do you think they are just soulless pieces of wood? Or is there some magic in them? Is there a consequence of being too perfect? Or is your experience that your PRS guitars haven't been perfect and they haven't been good at all? That would be quite interesting to know as well, because that would kind of diminish the argument altogether for PRS guitars. I'd like to know what you think in the comments, and see you next time.